Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Gosh, my voice is going already. I haven't even started yet. Wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Right, well, in this video, I'm going to talk about this awful tragedy. Technically, it's not a crime, is it? Normally I talk about true crime. But I do think this deserves to be talked about. How has this actually even happened? Should people be allowed to do these terribly dangerous things? Is there not? Um, anyway, as we sort of go through the video and I read out to you what's happened, you'll see what I mean. I mean, obviously, people like diving, and why shouldn't people go diving? Why shouldn't people, I don't know, climb mountains or do dangerous things that people do? Or should there be some sort of monitoring, some sort of, how were these people allowed to dive down to these apparently very, very dangerous caves? I mean, were they proficient enough? Or did they just do it, regardless? Because sometimes people do reckless things, don't they? Even though they're told not to do them, or there's warning signs, or all these things that people aren't supposed to do, people do go ahead and do them. How can we stop these kind of tragedies happening when these are grown adults, who decided to go, they went into these caves by choice. They weren't forced to go in there. Unlike the poor guy, one of the rescue divers who died trying to rescue them, doing his job. And this is the problem. People who do dangerous, who enjoy doing dangerous things, they put their lives at risk, obviously, and they put the lives at risk of rescuers, of anyone who tries to save them. And now we're in a position where it's the recovering of the bodies, sadly. And what we're going to talk about in this video is the fact that these bodies have been located, apparently, but how they're going to recover them. Is there not a robot we can use to do those kind of things instead of more people like getting into danger, getting into hazards, and possibly dying? Like the rescue, one of the rescue divers that has died as well. What is the answer? I mean, you can't, dive in for. It's not my kind of thing. I'll tell you that right now. I can't. Just the thought of being under all that water and feeling trapped would be horrible to me. But a lot of people like it. Like people like potholing, and I can't understand that. Or people like doing any dangerous sport, climbing mountains, or hiking in very difficult conditions, etc. If you're not an adrenaline junkie, it's quite difficult to sort of understand why people do it, but people do, and some people like it. And can we stop people doing things that they enjoy doing? There's quite a lot to talk about in this, about surrounding arguments. So that's what we're going to talk about. But first of all, I want to say hi, and also thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you to my two on both my channels. They are growing all the time, slowly but surely, with subscribers, etc. Now, subscribing and liking and sharing and hyping, because are all absolutely free ways that you can help my channel. Commenting is another way. Anything that adds to the algorithm, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And special thanks, as always, to those of you who go that little bit further to help me, by becoming members, or sending Ko-fis or super stickers, etc., PayPals, emailing me, leaving nice comments, all those extra things that people do to help my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to take off my banner now. Hello, you lovely lurkers. My lovely lurkers, of course, are the people that like to watch the live streams but don't necessarily like to come in the chat. Hi to you all. Hi to replay crew. Those of you who don't manage to catch the live. A lot of people don't get notifications, which is, I just don't even know what I can do about that, because you should get notifications if you've pressed the notification bell. You should get, and I know that my lives tend to, don't do them at fixed times. I tend to just find I've got a few hours to do a live, something important to talk about. And I do tend to sort of jump on spontaneously. So I know that's difficult. So people don't always know when I'm coming on live. But then they like to watch replay crew. So hi, replay crew. Thank you so much. So I'm going to have my vape. I'm vaping. All these stories that I talk about. They're not stories. These are true things that I talk about. I've been feeling like a little bit stressed. So I have, but anyway, I don't inhale though ever. I'm Bill Clinton. I don't inhale. Also tonight got a little survive here. Don't have to drive later. Those of you know I have to ferry my son backwards and forwards to work. He's home already, so I'm going to have a beer. So, do you know about this? What's happened? What do you think about it? Now, do any of you know the Maldives? This is where it's happened. Let's just have a look. I don't know much about the Maldives. It's sort of appropriate, isn't it? This is a diving accident and it's called the Maldives. But it's apparently a very beautiful place. I've never been there. It's in South Asia. Let's see what I can find out about it. Oh, that's a beautiful picture. Let me share this picture. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Share screen. So look, that looks, let me just make sure it's sharing. Sorry, it's coming up now. So this is the place where this tragedy happened. Looks absolutely stunning, doesn't it? Beautiful. And yeah, if I was to get there, it would take 16 hours from Spain, where I'm based. Looks like a beautiful place to go on holiday. But this actual tragedy happened in some caves. Oh, it's near Sri Lanka. It's off the coast there. Yeah, I've heard of the Maldives, but to be honest, if you would have asked me before, I've just looked it up now, where exactly it was, I wouldn't have a clue, to be honest. I had no idea where it was. It's the sort of place you hear the name, but really, I suppose, unless you've actually been there or you're better at geography than I am, wouldn't necessarily know. Oh, it's here. Oh, it's near the Seychelles. It's funny, if I would have had to say so, I would have said, oh, I think it might be near the Seychelles, but I don't know anything about the Seychelles either. I am absolutely rubbish at geography, so I wouldn't have been able to. That would have been a quiz question. I would have failed that miserably. But yeah, so this is the place. It's a beautiful place that people go on holiday. I would have imagined. I don't know if it's an expensive place to go or not, but beautiful places are normally expensive. Maybe not when you actually get there, but to get there. Maybe it's a similar kind of thing to Thailand or somewhere like that. But yeah, let me know if you've been, if you know anything about it. So that's where it happened. Now I'm going to read to you the incident. Um, what happened? Oh, so first of all, I think actually I'll put some pictures up because we need to, my condolences go out to the families of these people that have died. Now, these are the original, these are the divers, the tourists, if you like, were on holiday, 5 divers. This lady up at the top left hand corner, that's her daughter next to her. So it was her and her daughter. And then the other three tourists, well, I'm going to read out their names in a moment. That was the initial tragedy. They went down to these caves, dove down to these caves, and never came up. So it was evident, that they'd perished, all of them. I mean, 5 people. You make sure, you wonder, we don't know exactly what happened. There may be some cameras to recover. I expect there will be because they've probably gone down there and tried to take some video. I don't know. But, what has happened? Did one person get into difficulty and then the others trying to help them got into difficulty? Or is it, it's these caves are very, very dangerous. So it may just be that these people were not prepared properly. They're all experienced divers. But there's a difference, isn't there, between being an experienced diver and then going to these kind of places. And I'm going to show you some footage from these caves. The other thing that struck me when I was looking at the footage that I'm going to show you in a moment is, why would you want to go down there? You can't see anything. I mean, they're just completely murky and black. Didn't strike me as a place you'd go to see all the lovely fish or whatever, like scuba diving and things. And that is something maybe I could do. If I was right on the surface, I could do it. I could not dive down like that. I just couldn't do it because the claustrophobia of it would just overwhelm me. It'd be bad enough to go in a cave for someone like me who's got claustrophobia, but a cave filled with water, no, just never going to happen. You couldn't pay me enough money to do that. But different people, it's horses for course, isn't it? Different people like different things. And these people, they like diving and they wanted to go in the caves for whatever reason. And then the other person, of course, who's died is one of the rescue team that was sent down there. He was sent down with a team of 8 people, and unfortunately, he got into difficulty. So he's died as well. So you've got 6 people so far. I mean, I just think with this case, they, as I say, apparently now, I don't know if they've located this gentleman's body, but they've located the bodies of the tourists. And now they've got to get the bodies up. That's another operation, isn't it, to do? A maneuver that'd be difficult and dangerous. So it's quite scary, isn't it? Anyway, sorry, I need to say hello to Lily, who's here in the chat. Yeah, thank you. Caring about these stories. So, yeah, so let me read out to you what happened. I put the tourist picture up while I'm reading it out, and then I'll put the rescuer's photo up in a moment when I'm reading out about him, because I do feel so. I know maybe it's his job to, but is he even that experienced a diver that that team that was sent down to recover the bodies initially, the local team, maybe they're not qualified to do that either. They've finally been located by a very specialised team. I think they're from Finland or somewhere Scandinavian country. who are apparently the best there are. And we're going to learn about those as well in a moment. So let's see. So what happened? So on Thursday, May the 14th, May the 14th. So where are we now? We're on the 18th. So it's 4 days ago. This year, 2026, a group from the University of Genoa, Italian students, I don't know if they're all students, but they're all from the University of Genoa. They were on a private scuba diving excursion. Oh my God, do you know what the yacht was called? The Duke of York. That's Andrew, isn't it? Oh my God, he's such a Jonah. Brings bad luck to everyone. The Duke of York was Prince Andrew, wasn't he? He was the Duke of York, wasn't he? Oh my God. So yeah, a group from the University of Genoa was on a private scuba diving excursion from the yacht the Duke of York. And this happened, sorry, excuse me, near Alimathea Island in the Vavu Atoll, south of the capital city of Male. And the depth that they descended. Now, it's worrying me already now thinking that it was a private scuba diving expedition because, you know, were they even really allowed to do this? I mean, look, nobody's trying to put blame. It's a tragedy for everybody that's concerned, but it's going to invite questions, isn't it? Should people be allowed, to do these dangerous things? Or, I mean, maybe they weren't allowed, but they did it anyway, Just scary, isn't it, really? How do you stop people doing reckless things? If they weren't supposed to do this, but they did it anyway because they're on a private expedition, not that's called the Duke of York, of all names. How do you stop that happening? Anyway, so apparently they descended into a complex sea cave system at a depth of 50 to 60 meters, which is 164 to 197 feet. Now, I'm not very good with figures and distances, but even I know that's pretty deep, isn't it? So this significantly exceeded the Maldives standard recreational diving limit of 30 meters. So apparently, yeah, there's a diving limit that you're allowed to do, according to the BBC, of 30 meters or 98 feet. But this group went down 50 to 60 meters, which is 164 to 197 feet. So, whose idea was it? It just makes you wonder, isn't it? Who decided? Hey, Tia. Who decided that this would be a good idea, I wonder, because obviously it wasn't a good idea because it's ended in a terrible tragedy. So anyway, the victims. So we've got Monica Montefalcone. I think she is the blonde lady up in the left-hand corner. 52 years old. Associate Professor of Ecology at the University of Genoa. Then her daughter, Georgia Somercal, 20 years old. How sad. Just beginning her life. Biomedical engineering student and Monica's daughter. Then there was Muriel Odenino. Oh, I hope I'm not butchering those names too badly. I'm trying my best. Muriel Odenino, 31 years old, research fellow at the University of Genoa. Then we have another 31-year-old, Federico Gualtieri. He's a recent graduate of the university and a marine biologist. And then we have Gianluca Benedetti, a boat operations manager and a diving instructor. So they had a diving instructor there and the boat operations manager. So I'm sure they thought that it would be safe. Thank you, Lily. Yeah, I thought Prince Andrew was the Duke of York because there was a lot of jokes about it, wasn't it? And do you remember Fergie, and I say bless her, and I know she's turned out to be not a nice person. But when she first married Andrew, do you remember they used to call her the Duchess of Pork because she was like, I don't know, what, half a stone overweight or something? You know what the papers were like then, the sort of News of the World and all those horrible papers. They used to call her the that's why I remember. Believe me, because I remember thinking, what a horrible thing to call someone. He really, Fergie was never then, was not overweight at all. But she just, unfortunately, next to Princess Diana, perhaps always, Princess Diana would be the woman you wouldn't want to get your photo taken next to, would it? But yeah, they were very cruel to Fergie, to be honest, then. And now, of course, we know that she's not a nice person, and I don't feel so sorry for her as I did then, but I did feel sorry for her at the time. So, yeah, just to reiterate, the name of the yacht that they were on was the Duke of York. I wonder how that, how did that come to be called that? Did maybe it used to be his? Coincidence, isn't it? So yeah, these are the five tourists, Italian tourists, who did the dive, the private dive, that seems now that was contrary to the rules in um, in the Maldives. So yeah, and it's just makes you think, doesn't it? Who decided? I always want to know the who, what, where, and why, and I want to know who decided that this would be a good idea to dive these caves that are so dangerous, apparently. Anyway, I'm going to put up now the photo of the the rescuer who unfortunately died, and tell you a bit about him. So this is Sergeant Mohammed Mahdi. He was 43 years old, and he's a Maldivian National Defence Force rescue diver. And he died on Saturday from decompression sickness. Oh, so he had come. Ah, right, okay. He did not die in the cave, so they're not looking for his body. When he came out, he died from decompression sickness. Gosh. So I'm going to tell you more about him in a moment. So first of all, the recovery operation. The search and recovery proved exceptionally dangerous due to pitch black darkness, narrow passages, and unpredictable, powerful ocean currents. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. I don't really understand why they wanted to go to these caves because you can't see anything. Now, I'm going to show you now a video that came up on X. Showing the actual caves, and I just think, what is there to see there? As I say, it's so dark and gloomy. Why would you even want to go down there? I'm sorry, I just don't understand it. So So here is the actual Maldives cave. Diving this in a storm. What? If there was a storm and they still went down there? Diving this in a storm with regular recreational gear, no cave experience, and no training is literally self-deletion. Let's have a look at it. So look, what is there to see? I just don't understand the attraction of going down into this cave. Sorry, I just need to pour some more beer because my my throat is dry. Yeah, what's it about? Is there any of you out there that have ever done anything like this? Do you think it'd be a fun thing to do? You know, I know I am a very cautious person. I don't not I'm the furthest you can get from an adrenaline junkie as possible. But some things I do understand when I a lot, and you know, if you were going down there and you were looking at beautiful fish or something fun, it was to get somewhere to see something fantastic, I would enjoy it more. But the thought of risking your life just to see this that you could watch you could watch on YouTube anyway, I just don't get it. Now it seems to me this diver has got like a rope they're holding on to. So I don't know whether these tourists went down there with some kind of. You'd need something to guide you. Let's just watch it one more time. Thing is, it's so dark, it all looks the same. How would you even find your way? How would you even find your way through it? You know, I just don't see. I just do not see the attraction of it at all. But anyway, you know, what? What? Look at that! I mean, what is it? What's so fantastic about it? But each to their own. You know, each to their own, I suppose. But the problem is, you're not only putting your life in danger. You're putting potential rescuers' lives in danger, like the poor guy who died, rescuing them. So it's quite a selfish thing to do, really, isn't it? I quite often think that when I see people doing reckless things. Quite often, you know, people go up mountains and take their dog with them or whatever, and you just think, how selfish, you know, or they take their child with them, you know, not normally a little child, but I've heard of people going off hiking in the extremities and taking like their son with them or whatever. Like, why would you do that? You know, you're putting your life in danger. Don't put your dog's life in danger. Don't put your son's life in danger. And really, you've always got to think about the rescuers who have to come and get you as well, putting their life in danger. Anybody, there might be some of you out there who'll say to me, "Oh no, we'd love to do that." I mean, if you know, please tell me if you would. I don't see the attraction of it, but you know, that's just my opinion. I'd be interested to see if any of you do think it's you know, an exciting thing to do and you would do it or you would like to do it. So the search and recovery was difficult because of the pitch black darkness, narrow passages, and unpredictable, powerful ocean currents. And then the initial recovery mission was halted on Saturday after Staff Sergeant Mohammed Mahdi, a senior military diver with the MNDF. Now, you presume if he's a senior military diver that he's got experience, but what's his experience in these caves? Seems to me these caves are probably places people, you know, keep a wide berth of. But then when people have gone there, and the thing is, you can't just leave bodies down there because you've got to think of the families, etc. But the danger, as I said, they have located the bodies now, but how are they going to get them up? And it does make you think this is something that, as advances in technology happen, is this something robots could help with, so that people weren't putting their lives in danger? Once the bodies have been located, can they use something like a robot rather than a real person? It makes you wonder. So yeah, he tragically suffered severe decompression sickness while attempting to map the cave and passed away at a hospital in Mali. So sad, so sorry for his family. So operations resumed on Monday with a revamped strategy. A specialised multinational team, including expert deep cave divers from the Divers Alert in Finland, yeah, they are from Finland, and remote operated vehicles. Yes, so they do use vehicles, ROVs, and they successfully located the remaining 4 bodies bunched together in the deepest third chamber of the cave. So what, there's one, so 4 bodies. Where's the other one then? The remaining 4 bodies. They must have already found one then. Must have already found one. So they were all bunched together in the deepest third chamber of the cave, and officials plan to retrieve 2 bodies on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, and the final 2 on Wednesday. So sad. So while the exact cause of death remains under investigation, so the thing is, they don't know, do they, what happened? As I say, did one person get into difficulty and then the others tried to help them and then they got into difficulty? An experienced diver, the one that had posted that video on X that we watched, they said that probably silt got kicked up and they just lost vision completely and couldn't see where they were going at all, and maybe then just kept swimming around in circles, couldn't find their way out. But wouldn't they have one of those ropes, like we saw on that video? Surely, they'd have a way of getting out. But anyway, they didn't. So theories are, diving experts hypothesize that they may have succumbed to nitrogen narcosis or oxygen toxicity due to the extreme depth, because they did go too far down, or maybe became entirely disorientated in the silt and ran out of air. Yeah, because I suppose if you're just going round in circles and you can't find your way out, eventually you're going to run out of air, aren't you? Local weather reports also indicate that at the time of the dive, there was a yellow alert for rough seas. Strange, isn't it? Surely they would know that it'd be dangerous. If they're experienced divers, surely I'm not a diver and I know that. You don't go diving in rough seas. Why did they go down there? Anyway, so apparently the Maldivian police have launched a criminal investigation, and additionally, authorities have indefinitely suspended the operating license of the Duke of York luxury yacht as they review whether safety and depth protocols were breached. Well, I think 100% they were. If you're looking, oh, so it's saying, if am I looking for? No, I don't want that. So it's asking me if I'm looking something else. The AI is good like that. So I want to tell you a little bit more now about the guy, the rescue diver. So Staff Sergeant Mohammed Mahoudi, an elite military rescue diver with the Maldives National Defence Force. And he died of this underwater decompression sickness in hospital on the recovery mission. So he was part of an 8-person military diving team who were navigating the complex multi-chambered underwater cave system. So apparently, let me put his picture up again as I'm telling you. Oh, I have got his picture up. Apparently, he became separated from his team and he blacked out and he was found unconscious by fellow divers. He was rushed to a hospital in Mali and he later succumbed to the decompression sickness. So officials from the MNDF, which is the Maldives National Defence Force, described the mission as extremely high risk due to rough weather, strong currents, narrow passages, and zero light conditions. You know what? I just really, literally do not understand the point of this expedition at all. No, I don't know. Anyway, of course, there's been other diving accidents. I mean, would you say that diving is a dangerous activity in general, or is it just because, in this case, they took such a chance? They went down too deep. The weather conditions were bad. There's every reason not to go on this dive. And they went on it, sadly, for whatever reason. I mean, I'm sure as time goes on, we'll find out more about the motives for going down there, I mean, really, I just, especially after watching that video, I just don't see the point of it. What's the point of going down into a black cave? Is it just to say you've been down there? That's another thing I never understand. This thing of, oh, yeah, climbing a mountain just to say you've climbed it and got to the top. Why? What difference does it make? Is it just to say, oh, yeah, I've done those caves? Why did they go down there? What was the reason? I'm sure we'll find out. There'll be, as the investigation continues, maybe we'll get more idea of their motives. But it's very, very sad. So these 5 tourists died, age ranging from 20 to 52, and actually the youngest and the oldest. So this is the girl that was 20, and that's her mum, who was 52. And the others were sort of round about the 30 age group. So very sad, very tragic, all too young to die, all of them. What I'm a bit speechless about. So anyway, I wanted to come on and talk about it because I just wanted to get everyone's thoughts on it. And I was thinking, dangerous things that people do like this, it was blatantly a very dangerous thing to do. And as a result, even one of the rescue team has died as well, trying to recover them. And where do we stop? Because people get a lot of criticism, for example, if they smoke or smoke too much, because they're damaging their health, and it costs the NHS or of whichever country you're living in, costs so much money, because people are putting their lives at risk and putting the lives of other people to risk. But this to me is the same, you know. If you're you're putting your life at risk and other people's life at risk. But how do we monitor people? Because all over the world as we're speaking now, people will be doing dangerous things for fun, for sport. People like it. They like going to remote places. They like taking a chance. But then, of course, you can step out of your door and just cross the road and get run over. You can't think that just because you don't go to dangerous places and do dangerous things, or you don't smoke, or you don't do any, take drugs or do anything to harm your health, anything can happen. What is, should we just let people live and let live? Or, seems that there were rules as far as this diving these caves were concerned. I'm sure that's all going to come out in the investigation. They dove too far down. They're not, you're talking about diving to a place where even experienced divers, like the expert team that's come from Finland, dangerous for them. The dive experts from the local area that went, someone died. They're struggling in these caves. So it's not, it's not just a freak accident, really. If people went to dive in places that people commonly dive in, scuba diving or whatever, and sometimes accidents happen, don't they? But this is more than that, isn't it? This is, uh, as it was saying on the tweet earlier, it's almost like a big S mission. It's, I just cannot get my head around why they did it, why they went down so deep in such a dangerous place, and you can't even see anything anyway. What's the purpose of it? So anyway, maybe it'll all come out with the investigation. What was the reason that they wanted to dive in those particular caves? Would you? I've never even heard of them before, so they must have known about them. I mean, obviously they were like geologists and people that knew about these kind of things. But had it always been an ambition to go and dive down there for whatever reason? I don't know. It's beyond me. But it's too late. Very sadly, they're deceased. The tourists are deceased. The rescue guy is deceased. But I hope lessons can be learned from it, and people won't keep doing these. This is a terrible incident. That's a lot of people, resulting in the deaths of a lot of people who still had a lot of life to live. So very sad. Anyway, just wanted to come on, tell you about it or chat to you about it. I'd like your views as always. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about them. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, and also I want to pray for the safety, because they've still got to get the bodies out, of course. So let's pray that all goes smoothly and nobody else, there's no further tragedy with this awful incident. Please, God. So thank you for watching. Take care of you, because you are the most important person. Please don't go diving in any dark caves. Please don't do that. Just go to your local swimming pool or something. Oh gosh, if you like diving, just try and stay to the safe places. Yeah, I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, as always, may your God go with you. Thank you.